Hello, you're in tune with the Indiana State Police Roadshow. I'm your host, Captain Dave Burston, Chief Public Information Officer for the Indiana State Police, and you're listening to us across the great state of Indiana, or perhaps you are watching us on the YouTube channel through the great work that Tom Trial does. I'm motioning off to the side because you never see Tom on camera, but he sets everything up to make our show look as professional as it does. And every time I thank you, Tom, and he just gives me a thumbs up. So thank you, Tom. I got the thumbs up. All right. Excellent. I also want to thank our sponsor, the Indiana State Police Alliance, as well as Cops for Kids, a subsidiary of the Indiana State Police Alliance, who provide the funding for us to be able to use the facilities here at MS Communications. We're going to be talking about something that is on everybody's mind if you're out driving ever on the interstates, and that's seeing the trucks that are out and about. And sometimes you go by those rest areas and you see that they're very full, and you wonder, where do all the truck drivers go to park their rigs? So to talk about that with us is a member of the Indiana Department of Transportation, Donna Luley. Did I pronounce your name right?
Luley.
Luley. I messed it up. I should have asked you that before we started. Luley. And Donna, you've been with the Indiana Department of Transportation how long?
I've been with them for a total of 17 years, but actually the second time was just 5 years.
So, and your background, we were talking a little bit before the show started. You're a civil engineer background and
I have a civil engineering background, and I went to Purdue for
Go
both
Boilers.
of my degrees. Yes,
Yep.
excellent.
Yeah, that's my wife went there, and my son is there, and my money goes there. So I know exactly how that goes. So we're talking about this truck parking management system, and I know there's lots of acronyms and everything that's associated with it, and there's an organization talking about Parking Information Management System. I guess that's PIMS. So tell us what are the issues of this, and why is this a concern to motorists?
Okay. The Truck Parking Information Management System, as you referred to it, it's TPIMS. It involves 8 states across the nation. That would be Indiana, Illinois, Kentucky, Kansas, Minnesota, Ohio, Wisconsin, and Michigan. Those states, we noticed that there was a problem for truckers and realized that they had a problem finding a safe parking haven. In each of those states, truckers have been killed just for trying to find a safe parking area. They would park in empty warehouse parking lots, empty
shopping
areas, malls, so, correct, yeah. Along the highway or even on exit ramps.
Well, I know that's from our aspect from state police. It's always a concern when any vehicle is pulled off to the side of the road, especially if they're alongside the berm on the interstate. People see the taillights and they think that truck is moving, and they fall in behind it, and the next thing you know, they've rear-ended it. And when you have somebody hit any parked stationary vehicle and they're traveling at 70 miles an hour, the end result is not going to be favorable. So
no, you're right in that. And what we're trying to do is to help them find safe parking within their time for downtime. Each one of them have a certain amount of time that they can drive a day. And because of that, it's usually about half an hour that they have to start searching. At least half an hour. Each one of those truck drivers are looking for a place and they can't find a place. What we're trying to do is to give them the information. It will be similar to the signs that you see overhead that tell you how many minutes it is to reach a certain exit, or
the dynamic messaging boards, the great big ones that usually they're dark because the idea is not to don't want to divert people's attention to there unless there's something for them to see and read about. So are they also going to, the truck drivers will have something like that, or will they have something that transmits into their truck?
Okay, there are several different ways that we will let them know the information. One is the dynamic message sign. That's going to be on the right-hand side. They'll see that about half an hour prior to arriving at the rest stop area. That's one. Number two, they could get it on their smartphone app. And then number 3, there are information websites, such as Indiana, but there's also a Trucks Park Here website. Each one of the states have a website also that will come up. But to make this seamless, we have made sure that all of our apps and the message signs are congruent. They say the same thing. They have the same format for the truckers, and it will give them the same information. They'll know exactly what to look for.
So all of this has been organized. I know this is a mouthful to say. It's the Midwest American Association of State Transportation Officials, and you call that MASTO?
MASTO. It's part of a larger organization called ASHTO, which is over the region. The MASTO is the 8 states.
Okay,
Again,
that's the ones that you at the start of our show that you talked about. So, well, we've kind of touched on it, but are there any specific things that came up? We talked about the loss of life. Well, what were the things that brought to mind? Did the truck drivers, were they saying, hey, we've got no place to park, we have no place to be, and we're going to be in violation? And how did all this come together?
The collaborative states noticed that there was a problem, especially brought up to them by the state police and with the trucking industry. We have met with the trucking industry several times. We gathered information from them and then designed a program where it would give them what they need so that they can have the safe downtime. This information is gathered from the pucks that they will drive over as they go into the truck parking area.
I said, tell people you said pucks. People may not know what a puck is. So,
well, a magnetometer is what the actual name is. The puck is what I call it. As the truckers drive over the puck, it will let us know that a truck has come in. There is also going to be a infrared that will let us know what type of a truck, somewhat.
Okay.
And then we also have a camera in the parking lot that overwrites itself every 15 minutes. This camera is used mainly for confirmation. Yes, there are 15 spots available. Yes, there are 12 trucks there.
So they're getting real-time live information, and when as you said, it's updating every 15 minutes, so when a truck leaves, it reassesses how many parking spots are available.
Correct. Now, all of that information is sent down to our traffic management center, and the traffic management center sends it out to the dynamic message sign, letting the truckers know.
So that's how it all comes and works back together. So now it sounds like something like this might be pretty expensive to put together. How was all of this paid for, or is it being how is it being paid for?
We collaboratively got together and wrote a proposal to the Federal Highway, and DOT approved and gave us a $28 million grant. Along with that, the states put in monies on it also.
Mm-hmm.
That started, we sent that back in 2015, 2016. We received the grant. We designed it the first year. 2017, we started in on the construction. And 2018, we are finishing the construction. January 4th of 2019 is our grand opening for all of the truckers.
So that's coming up very quickly.
Yes.
So if you're just joining us, you are in tune with the Indiana State Police Roadshow. I'm your host, Captain Dave Burston, Chief Public Information Officer for the Indiana State Police. You're listening to us either somewhere on a local radio station across Indiana, as we're brought to you each and every week, or perhaps you're watching us on YouTube as the show is put together each and every week by Tom Trial through all the magical work that he does in preparing the program. And we could not do this without our wonderful sponsors, the Indiana State Police Alliance, as well as the subsidiary organization with the Alliance, Cops for Kids. So it's always a pleasure to be here. My guest today is I've got a message, Dono Lulai.
Yes.
I got it right. Okay. Donna Lulai with the Indiana Department of Transportation. And we are talking about the truck parking management system program that you just mentioned is going to launch January of 2019. So just a couple short weeks from now. Is there some special grand opening that will happen, or will it just, the system will come on?
We do plan a grand opening ceremony. There may be a ribbon cutting as well. There are going to be 150 sites across all of those 8 states.
Okay.
And they will all come on simultaneously. They will give congruent information across the line of what is available in each state for the truckers.
Now, this system that for these 8 states, and I assume that there's going to be similar systems across the country, how far along are they in their process of development?
We are one of the first as far as a group is concerned, and Michigan already has some of the truck parking implemented up there.
So they had something already in the
Yes.
works and having, so you've been able to work the bugs out of the system with
Correct.
what they've done there. How do you know off the top of your head how long their system has been going?
2 years.
2 years. So a lot of data and developed information from that.
Yes.
So in Indiana, when we look at those 8 states, are all of these sites primarily just along the major interstates?
Yes. They are along the freight highway, the major freight highways, and that would be I-35, I-64, I-69, I-70, I-71, I-75, I-80, I-94, and I-135.
So all of those areas will be covering.
Yes.
So now, is there anything related to this? I'm going to throw a curveball to you. It's primarily just for trucks. Is there anything also available for cars?
These are rest stop areas, so there will be parking for the cars in front, but the rest stop areas that we are putting signs up for, they are only for the trucks.
Okay, so and I think most people are familiar when they pull into that rest stop. You have the candy machines and everything in the bathroom. That's what everybody really wants, is the bathroom. But the cars are normally segregated on one side, and then the trucks are on the other. So there's
Correct.
nothing that's. I imagine if it's a success, and as technology continues to go on, it's feasible something could be done for cars as well, I imagine.
That's a good possibility, but what we're trying to do is to get enough information from the truckers to see whether or not if there is enough parking there, number
Okay.
one. Number two, is it going to be used? And then number three, we show this to the federal government, and possibly there might be something in the future to expand the parking.
And then back on the truck drivers, you had mentioned very early when we started talking that there's an app that they'll use. So I imagine you're probably just marketing that to the trucking industry, and you're probably not being very public on what that app is.
Actually, within Indiana, we have our own INDOT website and app. There will be a second page on that app for the truckers to see where the truck parking might be available for them at any given time.
So multiple
addition.
ways.
Yes.
Okay, so and that's in addition to it. So the highlight for us, this is all kicking off in February, and it's all to make sure that truck drivers have a place to park when they have to take their required rest stops.
That's true. January 4th is the kickoff date.
So, well, I'll be looking forward to hear, because we still have a couple weeks before that comes up to see if they are going to do some grand opening thing, and because I'm sure the state police would love to be part of that.
Oh, yes.
Anything with safety. So, well, Donna, is there anything that I didn't ask you that you think we should share with everybody in our last few seconds?
Just as far as the truckers, please let us know what your thoughts are. We're very happy to hear from you. And of course, from the state police, we need to know from both of our stakeholders what their thoughts are of the process and the system. Thank you for
Donna,
inviting me.
thank you so much for being part of the show. I think very educational. Those of you who have listened to the show before, please buckle up, drive safely. The life you save may be your own. We'll see you next week. Roadshow is out.